and welcome to Max Bonsai Techniques. Today we're going to have a look at repotting a couple of trees. Both of these trees are Chinese Corky bark elms, and sadly I have to admit they have been very neglected, and so we're going to look at repotting them, doing a bit of trimming, maybe a bit of wiring, and I may have to break this up into two sections, so we'll call this section 1. So let me introduce you to the first tree. So as I mentioned, they've certainly been quite neglected, as you can see by the amount of weeds there are here in the pot. Now, another little thing I'm going to point out before I get started on this tree, being a Corky bark elm, they are quite amazing where they will throw out new shoots. And as you can see, there are little shoots that are popping out everywhere. And I have to really keep my eye, you can see the size of this one, I have to keep my eye on this very carefully, because those little shoots will get away and they will just keep growing and growing. Now, because it's a literati, I don't want that to happen, and so I keep trimming those off. So the very first thing we'll do is I'll get rid of the weeds so that we can see the tree, and then we'll come back to the doing a bit of trimming and possibly a little bit of wiring. So that's a little more tidy. Now, a few things I want to point out here. As you can see, I've got some wiring on the tree, and also the tree is wired into the pot. And so, because we're going to take it out of this pot, of course those wires will have to be taken off. But also I'm going to remove these wires off the tree and see whether I need to just do a little bit more wiring before we take it out of the pot. Now, why do that? Why not take it out and pot it and what have you? If I take the wire off and do the rewiring and a little bit of trimming now, it's going to disturb the tree as little as possible. Unfortunately, both this tree and the next tree, I really should have done these 2 or 3 weeks ago. So let's do that. We'll get rid of the wire, and then I'll then go through and get rid of all these little shoots so that we've got a clean tree to work with. So let's get rid of some of these wires. Okay, so we've got rid of all the wiring off the main part of the tree. We'll get to the wiring down here a little later, because we need to cut those wires as well to get the tree out of the pot. But prior to doing that, let's go through and get rid of these little shoots and have a look at the tree and see whether I need to trim anything off that. So we'll go through these first and get rid of these. And just pick those off. They really do get right inside there. I think that's cleaned most of them up. Now I'm just going to have a look at the actual foliage pad itself. Now just checking whether I need to do any wiring. Just get rid of a few more little bits here that are dying off. We don't want any dead stuff to be staying there. Okay, so yes, we've certainly got a hole here, and so I could move that pad there over into that space, and so I might just get a little bit of wire and do that. Just get rid of these couple of little dead ones again. Alright, so I'll get some wire and I'll just bring that little pad over into the centre. So I've put some wire on here now, and I'm just going to move this little pad over into the centre like so, and maybe a bit more. Okay, so we've moved this over into here now, and this little section will grow and fill out into here, and also I should get some more out of here, and we should be able to fill that little hole up there. And I'll let this fill out the back here and round off this back section here as well. So we'll have to just wait for some time for that to happen, but the speed that these grow at, this will easily happen this season. Okay, so look, that'll do for the demonstration. So what we're going to do now is actually just lift the tree out of the pot. So to do that, we need to cut our wires. And underneath we should be able to see the wires. Actually that may even just lift out. I'll just have a look and see. There we go, I think that'll lift out. Alright, so there we go. Now I won't take any more time with this pot, because I'm actually going to replace it with another very pretty little pot. Much more rustic looking pot, and I think that will suit this particular tree much better. So we'll pop this one aside, and I'll just get the pot ready, and then we'll go through and see what we've got to trim off the tree to get it in there. So all it really needs is it's going to need some wire, and it's just going to need a little cover over the bottom hole, so that the potting mix won't go through. I'll just get some wire to come up through there, so that we can use that to anchor the tree down. So let's have a look here. There. There. Okay, so there are some wires that we can use. Now, the next very important thing, of course, is to have a look at what you're going to call the front. That's quite nice with the little cracked lip there. That looks quite effective. Yeah, I think that should be quite suitable, I think. And of course, if it doesn't work, next time you pot it, you'll change to another position. So let's now have a look at getting the tree in there and see what's involved in that. Now, I noticed there are a couple of dead areas on the tree, so I'm just going to get rid of those. We don't really need that. And we can now get rid of the soil off here. This particular tree doesn't have a lot of roots, so I'm going to be a little careful in just how much I take off, and I want to try and maximise the amount of root that I've got into the new pot. So just try and get rid of any loose little bits here, so that we've got nice fresh soil for them to grow into. So let's have a look and see. Now, where did I say the front was going to be? I think that area there is quite nice. So this is going to be the front of the tree around here. So just initially I'm looking at where the tree will sit. So instead of having this trunk here coming straight up, I'm going to certainly have that at an angle, and then we can follow the lovely shape up to the head of the tree up here. So let me just do a little more checking. Well, it works out that I will be able to put all of the roots in the tree. I won't really need to cut any off at all. So I'm going to get some soil in there, and then we'll wire it in, and then I'll fill it up with soil. Okay, we've put some soil in the pot and just ready to put the tree in now and wire it, and it's looking promising. Just spread those roots out a wee bit. The tree will come out of the pot on an angle, and the main part of the tree is favouring this side of the pot, so that as it slants over, that will be acceptable with that size pot. Might even have a little bit more angle like so. Now we've got to find some good spots to bring the wire through, so that hopefully we won't see it, but it will hold the tree quite successfully. So let me see if I can wiggle this wire through to a spot where it'll work for us. That one there. Just pull the wire up and twist it. Pull it up, twist it, and that should help to stabilise it quite nicely. Just make sure before you do your second lot of wiring that you're happy with the way it's sitting in the pot. I think that's going to be reasonable. So I'll just double check that. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. Alright, I'll see if I can find another spot for the second lot of wire. Just pull that up, twist it around. I think basically that's going to look reasonably okay. I'll trim the excess wire off, and then we can put some more soil in. Just push your wires down so that they won't come up through the soil, and you'll hurt your hands or so if you're doing weeding and that type of thing. So now I'm going to add the new soil, and this is, when people are adding soil, the traditional way is to use a chopstick to poke the soil in. Now, I have to admit, I haven't done that for years. I actually use water to get the soil into the roots. It helps to force the soil down through all of the roots, and the thing is, it doesn't damage any of the roots by poking at them. And so I'll set up that now just to show you how I go about it, and that'll virtually be that job done. And later on we can tidy it up with pebbles and whatever you want to do. But let's get some water and get the rest of that soil in there. So I'm ready with my hose, and we'll pop the soil in, and I'll show you how I go about just getting that to go through. So just gently go around with the hose, and you'll find that the soil level will drop, and this will force the soil right down into the actual roots of the tree. So just work your way around. And the nice thing is that will give us a really nice intermingling of the soil with the roots, and we haven't damaged anything at all. So let me just tidy that up a little bit for you. That's the first tree done, and I'm reasonably happy with that. I think that's going to look quite nice in the future, and as I say, we can look after the soil and that later and decide what we want to put on top of the actual potting mix to make it look more attractive. But especially with the time that I've done this, as I mentioned before, I really should have done this a couple of weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so this tree will be given a drink of sea salt at least twice a week, until I see the new shoots are recovering quite okay, and then I'll go over to some liquid fertilizers, Charlie Carp and Power Feed. And what I do with those is I'll give it a feed of Charlie Carp 1 week, and a couple of weeks later I'll go to the Power Feed, so that it varies the fertiliser a little. And once I can see that it's established quite well, it'll get a good handful of sea mungus on top of the soil, and that should grow like a weed. I'll be constantly looking at the little shoots, trying to make sure that I keep getting rid of those, or this whole tree will just shoot out again, and so you really do have to keep them under control. So that's the first tree done, and we will have a look at the next tree in the next series. So I hope you enjoyed that, and that's repotting, a little bit of trimming, a little bit of wiring of the Chinese Corky bark elm. Thank you.